Authority. That word alone makes some cringe uncomfortably due to abuses at seemingly all levels. In fact, a modern trend of thinking is to question all authority and to respect none. This attitude has permeated society and is viewed as the norm today. Such a spirit can be infectious like a disease and can distort our own view of submitting to authority. What about the expression godly authority? Does that sound more palatable to you? And even more importantly, is there any indication in God's Word that shows how Jehovah feels about loyal submission to His authority? A sobering yet gripping account in the Bible book of Numbers, chapter 16, commands our attention. The following drama will present these events and their significant effects on the nation of Israel. As you watch, try to determine which character best represents your deepest feelings about authority. How is godly authority demonstrated among humans? Also try to see how many different aspects of loyalty you can identify as this struggle between right and wrong unfolds before you. At the conclusion of this drama, we will discuss these questions and their application for us today. And now our drama presentation, Respect Jehovah's Authority.
Jehovah of armies, happy is the man that is trusting in you.
Very nice. Your father must be really proud of you.
Thank you, Uncle Cana.
You've become a great musician. No, an excellent musician. You have a future at the tabernacle.
You've all taught me so much. I just wish Grandfather were here to see how much I've learned.
You know, your grandfather Cora built that harp for me when I was about your age. It's been in the family a long time now.
I know. Father's told me many times that Grandfather taught all of you how to play, and how Grandfather was at Moses' side when Jehovah directed the execution of the idolaters after the Exodus.
At that time, he was quite a force for righteousness.
But he usually doesn't say much else. Sometimes he gets the saddest look on his face. Kind of like the one you have now.
Well, my son, there's a long story behind this look on my face. Your father and I don't talk about it much anymore. Back then, you were too young to understand what was going on or why things had to happen the way they did. But you're not a little boy anymore, are you? So why don't I try to fill in some of the gaps, huh? You see, your grandfather, Cora, was an assistant to the priests, like I am, and like you will be one day. In fact, he was the first cousin of Moses. Now, Jehovah used Moses to deliver us miraculously from slavery to the Egyptians, opening the Red Sea right before us. That's an experience I'll never forget.
Everyone says what an awesome day that was. I remember when we were little, Father used to always tell us the story of Jehovah delivering us through the Red Sea. It was one of my favorites, and still is.
Yes. But shortly afterwards, many didn't continue to appreciate all that Jehovah had done for us. After the Exodus, Jehovah spoke to us by means of Moses, saying, "If you will strictly obey my voice, and will indeed keep my covenant, then you will certainly become my special property out of all other peoples." Now, we had no problem in answering unanimously, "All that Jehovah has spoken, we are willing to do." But little did we know that real challenges would be awaiting us during our wilderness trek.
There. No, this guy goes in the back. All right, he can go on the phone. Yeah, put him here. There we go. These guys are this one goes there. There. Now it's perfect. We're ready. Yeah. This is the last one. And then Jehovah told Moses, "Stretch your hand out over the sea so that the waters may come back over the Egyptians." And the waters covered the war chariots and the cavalrymen belonging to Pharaoh, and not so much as one of them was left.
That was really fun.
Let's do it again.
Except this time, I want to be Moses.
Only if you fill the water jug.
Because I did it last time.
Oh, all right. There we go.
I can't believe my ears. You should at least try to understand why your father opposes Moses. The people are fed up with Moses' authority. Haven't you noticed all the murmuring and complaining lately? Don't you see that Moses and his clan exceed their authority over Jehovah's people? Don't you see
Amzai, I don't like the way you speak. You're a Levite like us, our cousin. You know that Jehovah appointed Moses and Aaron, and that Moses is actually Jehovah's choice to lead our nation to the Promised Land.
But Elkanah, as my uncle Korah, your father, has repeatedly stressed the whole assembly, all of them are holy. Why should Moses and Aaron lift themselves up above the congregation of Jehovah? Hasn't Korah himself worshipped Jehovah for many years? Even under the hardships of slavery in Egypt.
And he was privileged to witness the miraculous deliverance of our nation through the Red Sea by the hand of Moses. He even lifted up his voice in song, praising Jehovah for having destroyed the Egyptian pursuer in the very same sea.
Yes, Abiasaph, and don't forget, your father proved his loyalty to Jehovah by sharing in the execution of God's judgment against the calf-worshipping Israelites at Mount Sinai.
I still remember how our father, along with the rest, passed through the camp of Israel and killed 3,000 idolaters with a sword in obedience to Jehovah. But now...
That's exactly my point, Asser. Would you consider such a tested and true Levite a rebel? A person disloyal to Jehovah? Korah only tries to be balanced, reasonable.
I have to disagree with you, Amzai. Everybody who knows Moses well will agree that he is by far the meekest of all men.
And we've seen how Moses always asks for Jehovah's direction, and then just obediently follows through.
So, Amzai, whose will is actually carried out? That of Moses or that of Jehovah?
Supposedly Jehovah's will.
That is the real issue before us. In the first place, it was Jehovah who appointed Moses in order to glorify his own holy name before Pharaoh, to lead us out of slavery into the Promised Land.
We all know the reservations Moses initially had when Jehovah asked him to speak to Pharaoh.
That's true. If I remember correctly, Moses replied that he wasn't a fluent speaker, that he was slow of mouth and slow of tongue.
He even asked Jehovah if someone else could be used to save our people. It was then that he appointed his brother Aaron as a mouth to Moses.
Isn't it clear then, Amsai, that both Moses and Aaron have not arbitrarily lifted themselves up above the congregation? And if anyone objects to their authority, even someone who in the past has been faithful and loyal, whose authority do you think he's actually challenging?
Well, I know I have to answer Jehovah's authority. However, in my eyes, Moses' leadership is a failure. Why aren't we in the promised land yet?
Uncle, guess who I am?
Well, I don't know.
I'm Moses. And I'm the waters of the Red Sea crashing down on the Egyptians.
We're playing the time when Jehovah rescued us from the Egyptians and opened the water of the Red Sea before us.
Yeah.
That certainly was a day to remember. You and your friends will have to show us this great act of Jehovah one day.
But now it's almost time for the evening meal. Please go wash yourself up and have your little friends help you fill one of the water jugs.
As you say, Father.
No, one of the clean ones at the back of the tent.
Yes, Father.
Would you three claim that Moses and Aaron are always right? Don't they make mistakes? Like
Of course they do, because obviously they're imperfect men like the rest of us. Jehovah surely is aware of their mistakes, more than any of us.
Like when Moses got married to that Cushite woman. It's a disgrace that we're led by a man whose wife is not even a daughter of Abraham.
Yes, but Zipporah worships Jehovah the same as we do. And remember what happened when Miriam and Aaron began to speak against Moses on account of his wife.
Yes, and don't you think it was reasonable for them to ask if it was just by Moses alone that Jehovah had spoken? Was it not by them also he had spoken?
Jehovah was listening, Amzai, and he immediately made known his view of matters. God said about Moses, he is being entrusted with all my house. Mouth to mouth I speak to him. Then Jehovah pointedly asked, why then did you not fear to speak against my servant, against Moses?
And for her rebellion, Miriam was struck with leprosy for 7 days. Remember, we couldn't pull away until she recovered and was able to come back into the camp.
Aaron had to admit that turning against Jehovah's appointed one was a sin, a foolish act. He learned a very important lesson. I wish our father would learn the same.
Anyway, that was in the past. There's something about you three I don't understand. How can you side with Moses against your own father, who gave you life? The law specifically says you should honor your father. I'd expect you to be loyal and support your father, at least out of respect for him. How could you even—
Amzai, make no mistake about it. This isn't easy for us. We love our father, but we're not blind.
And it's very painful to see him follow a course of stubborn opposition to Jehovah.
But it's not just a question of taking sides with mere men, be it Father or Moses or Aaron. We simply want to remain faithful to the one who appointed Moses, Jehovah. So the whole matter boils down to, how can I put it?
To loyalty. Loyalty to our father and to family, or loyalty to Jehovah. It grieves us to see our father being swayed by what appears to be wrong motives.
Wrong motives? Here's something new. What do you mean by that, Elkanah?
Of course, I can't read my father's heart, and I in no way want to show disrespect for him. But lately, he seems to enjoy all the attention that Dathan, Abiram, and On pay to him. I wonder if—
Evidently, he's not content with the place our family has in God's arrangement. It's not a small thing to be teachers of Jehovah's law.
And to carry the furniture and utensils of the tabernacle.
Sadly, though, it seems that our father no longer finds satisfaction in serving as an assistant to Aaron and his priestly sons.
What about Dathan, Abiram, and On, who are distinguished leaders of the Reubenites, as well as the 250 other chieftains, men of fame? They all seem to agree with Korah.
Again, Amsai, you have to think about their possible motives. Could it be that since Reuben was the firstborn son of our forefather Jacob, some of these descendants of Reubens may resent Moses exercising authority over them?
And don't forget that our family camps near the Reubenites. There seems to be considerable interchange of thought between our father and certain prominent men of Reuben. I'm very much afraid that things will soon get out of hand.
Why do you have to be so narrow-minded? Maybe it's time for a change. Change is good. I wonder what you're going to do when it comes to a showdown.
As far as I'm concerned, Amzai, I cherish the honor that has been given to our family, serving Jehovah faithfully according to his arrangement.
I feel the same, cousin. A day in Jehovah's courtyard is better than 1,000 elsewhere. We have chosen to stand at the threshold in the house of our God, rather than to move about in the tents of wickedness.
Watch, don't spill it.
And now, Amsai, it's good for you to be here with us. Won't you please join my brothers and family for the evening meal?
The first part of the meal is ready. Thank you, Elkanah.
We have been here too long.
Someone who knows how to make decisions.
A decision
has
maker.
wisdom.
A new leader.
Someone courageous. We need to get somebody. You need a man of action.
We have been here too long.
Sick of Moses not knowing what to do. He's too weak.
We need a new leader.
Man of courage.
Yes. We have been here long enough.
Someone who knows how to make decisions.
Peace to you, my brothers.
Peace to you also, Korah. You came just in time. We were discussing your courage and how you fearlessly resist Moses on a number of issues.
This is the kind of leadership we need. Men like you who are not intimidated by Moses and his clan.
It's time to act. What happened to leadership in our nation? I don't believe that Moses enjoys the confidence of the people anymore. Look how often the people have to resort to complaining.
And then when you think of the appointment of his brother Aaron as high priest, that makes me sick.
My brothers, you are right. The next high priest would be half my age. Moses did not even consider me worthy to be head of our own family, the Kohathites. He appointed Elizaphan, a man younger than me.
Is it just by Moses alone that Jehovah speaks?
No, what about Korah? Moses obviously delays in bringing us into the land that God has promised us. And yet, he says it's because of the people. What? Because he's blaming it on you. That God is displeased with us. Do not be misled by him. Do not listen to him.
Sadly, it seemed that my father and his associates had decided to question the authority of the ones whom Jehovah had appointed, Moses and Aaron. But a new situation would soon give them an opportunity to express their feelings openly.
What happened next?
Well, Jehovah directed Moses to send men to spy out the land of Canaan. But after 40 days, they returned and reported, "We entered into the land to which you sent us out. Nevertheless, we're not able to go up against the people because they are stronger than we are." And they kept on bringing forth to the sons of Israel a bad report. Then all the assembly raised their voice and continued giving vent to their voice and weeping all through that night. And all the sons of Israel began to murmur against Moses and Aaron.
I'm not staying. This place makes me sick.
Our wives and our little ones will become plunder.
Why didn't we die in the land of Egypt? It's better than to die in this wilderness.
Hear me, my brothers. Hear me. Let us appoint a head, and let us return to Egypt.
Let us appoint a head and return to Egypt.
The land that we passed through to spy out is a very, very good land, a land that is flowing with milk and honey.
Only against Jehovah do not rebel, and you, do not you fear the people of the land, for they are bread to us.
My brothers, these men would lead you to your death. Do not listen to them.
Be of good courage, my brothers. Do not condemn God as having told you lies.
Trust in Jehovah to help us, and follow those whom he has appointed as leaders, even Moses and Aaron.
Do not listen to them. These men deserve to die. After them.
No, brothers, don't do this. Don't listen to them.
Look, it's Moses.
My brothers! My brothers! My brothers! My brothers! Hear this word of Jehovah. All the while, Jehovah has heard your voice, and he has become indignant. And he says, how long will this evil assembly have this murmuring that they are carrying on against me? I have heard the murmurings of the sons of Israel, that they are murmuring against me. As I live, is the utterance of Jehovah, if I shall not do to you just that way as you have spoken in my ears. In this wilderness, your carcasses will fall. Yes, all your registered ones, of all your number, from 20 years old upward, you who have murmured against me, not one among these men of this evil generation will see the good land that I swore to give to your fathers, except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, the son of Nun. As for your little ones, of whom you said, plunder they will become, and your sons who today do not know good or bad, these will go in there, and to them I will give it. and they will take possession of it, whereas the carcasses of you yourselves will fall in this wilderness.
Entreat Jehovah for us, Moses, that we may be reconciled to him, that he might permit us to wander no longer in the wilderness, but bestow cities upon us.
We shall go up and fight! Yeah! In accord with all that Jehovah our God has commanded us! Be courageous, men, for tomorrow we shall go up against the Canaanites!
No, my brothers! Jehovah said to me, say to them, you must not go up and fight, because I am not in your midst, that you may not be defeated before your enemies.
Gird on your swordsmen! Do not listen to Moses! We will go up against the land, just as Jehovah directed us when he brought us to the borders of Canaan.
Listen to Korah!
We want to get to the promised land.
Why? Why is it that you are overstepping the order of Jehovah? You will not succeed. Do not go up, because Jehovah is not in your midst, that you may not be defeated before your enemies.
We shall fight.
For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you are certain to fall by the sword. Because for the reason that you turned back from following Jehovah, Jehovah will not continue with you.
To the battle! Jehovah is with us!
They presumed to go up to the top of the mountain. But the Ark of Jehovah's Covenant and Moses didn't move away from the midst of the camp. The Amalekites and the Canaanites who were dwelling in that mountain came on down and began striking them and went scattering them as far as Hormah. How far my father and the rest had drawn away from Jehovah. You see, although they were making great professions of faith, their murmuring and fault-finding with Jehovah's appointed servants was bringing them into open opposition. You were young then, but remember what agony our family went through? Some insisted that we had to follow Korah. After all, he was our father. Our loyalty was on the line.
And so young.
I know his father. He must be grieving right now.
I saw this young man grow up to become a fine soldier.
Our defeat in no way should be taken as evidence that Jehovah is opposed to us.
It's because of Moses that we suffered this defeat.
Dathan, how can you say that?
Korah said, it's because we've permitted Moses to continue to impose himself and his own will upon the people.
That's right. Had you listened to Jehovah's express warning through Moses, you would not have gone up against the Canaanites. You would not have suffered this defeat.
It's to our advantage to be our own master and to take to ourselves a new leader.
Appoint a new leader.
Moses has gone too far. Yeah!
Moses is not fit to lead the people. Now that we are rejoicing in our deliverance from the Egyptians, why should we bear the tyranny of Moses over us?
That's right. And allow ourselves to be so deluded by him?
That's right.
That's enough.
Who is Moses anyway?
Is this a viewpoint you men share with my father, Korah?
Everyone knows that we live and move and act according to Moses' pleasure.
Moses would have us believe that God foretells what concerns us only out of kindness to Moses.
As if we are not all the children of Abraham.
That God has made Moses alone the author of all knowledge that we have, and that we must still learn it from him.
It's a very sad thing we haven't acted before this, but have allowed Moses to seek glory for himself.
Amzai, could I speak with you for a moment, please?
As you say, cousin. What is it now?
Amzai, why do you keep speaking so bitterly against Moses?
It's because I'm no longer deceived by his persuasive words. It's his clever speech that has allowed him to obtain his authority, under the pretense that he's following God's command. And now, Abiasaph, he's given the priesthood to Aaron.
How can you speak this way, Amzai? We both have the great privilege of being set apart for—
True, Abiasaph, but why his own brother Aaron? It only gives cause for suspicion on the part of the older men. Are there not others among the Levites that are as well qualified as Aaron?
Would you promote Korah to this office?
Indeed, Abiasaph, and why not? Is not Korah equal to Moses himself?
I hate to say it, but it's obvious my father is only interested in his own advancement.
Would you sit in judgment of your own father? An older man who's interested only—
Amzai, come, please. Why should we quarrel between ourselves? Is it not a time to—
It's a time for us to act, and to act quickly, before we suffer another such defeat as our valiant men.
Oh, my cousin. What's gonna happen?
May you have peace, Korah.
Peace to you too, my brothers.
We're growing restless, Korah. The defeat we have suffered at the hands of the Amalekites and the Canaanites have caused us to weep before Jehovah. But on account of Moses, Jehovah will not listen to our voice.
Moses makes a show of goodness and of compliance with Jehovah's will. He uses persuasion rather than force. And by his secret cunning, he has become wickedly powerful. And he has exalted Aaron, his brother, in the same way.
Truly spoken.
Now it is proper for the people to punish such men, even while they think their wicked designs are concealed from us.
They should be punished.
Punish them all. Yes. Do not let them gain the strength until there's nothing left for them to do.
Do not allow that. Do not allow that.
You sons of Levi, hear me now. Is Moses able to give any just cause as to why he has bestowed a priesthood on Aaron and his sons? If God has determined to bestow that honor on one of the tribe of Levi, am I not also of that tribe?
A prince of Levi.
Though I would not take it upon myself the dignity of this high office, unless it were urged upon me by the people.
We must appoint a new head.
On the other hand, if God determined to bestow this honor on the tribe of the firstborn, then someone from the tribe of Reuben would have it justly. The Nathan and Abiram would have it, for they are the oldest men of the tribe of Reuben, men of great wealth, men of fame.
Moses.
That is enough of you, because the whole assembly are all of them holy, and Jehovah is in their midst. Why then should you lift yourselves up above the congregation of Jehovah?
O Korah, both you and all those with you, these 250 men of the sons of Israel are chieftains of the assembly, summoned ones of the meeting, men of fame. But in the morning, Jehovah will make known who belongs to him, and who is holy, and who must come near to him. And whomever he may choose, this one will come near to him. Do this. Take fire holders for yourselves, you and your entire assembly, and put fire in them, and place incense on them before Jehovah tomorrow. And it must occur that the man whom Jehovah will choose, he is the Holy One. It is well. It is well. Joshua.
Here I am, my lord.
Dathan and Abiram are not presently with this assembly. Go and ask them, please, to come up also, that they may hear the word of Jehovah.
As you say, my lord.
Listen, please, you sons of Levi. Is it such a little thing for you men that the God of Israel has separated you from the assembly of Israel to present you to himself, to carry on the service of Jehovah's tabernacle, and to stand before the assembly and to minister to them, and that he should bring you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you near? So must you men also try to secure the priesthood? For that reason, you and all your assembly who are gathering together are against Jehovah. As for Aaron, what is he that you men should murmur against him? You are alone, Joshua. Have Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, come up?
No, my lord. Here's the word of Dathan and Abiram. We're not going to come up. Is it so little a thing that you've brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to put us to death in the wilderness, that you should also try to play the prince over us to the limit? As it is, you've not brought us up into any land that is flowing with milk and honey, that you might give us an inheritance of field and vineyard. Is it the eyes of those men that you want to bore out? So they said, we are not going to come up.
O Jehovah, do not turn to look at their grain offering. Not one male ass of theirs have I taken away, nor have I harmed one of them. Korah, you and all your assembly, be present before Jehovah, you and they and Aaron, tomorrow. And it must occur that the man whom Jehovah will choose, he is the Holy One.
Yes, let Jehovah choose.
That is enough of you, you sons of Levi.
Smile, very good. Oh, use all the fingers, all the different chords. Oops. Let's try that again. My brother.
Uncle Elkanah?
By now, the men are assembling before the tent of meeting, before the face of Jehovah.
This is a very sad day for our nation and our tribe, my brother.
What's happening, Father?
We're waiting on a judgment from Jehovah, my son. Now, please go sit with your mother. We'll finish your lesson a little later.
Yes, Father.
Thank you, my son.
Why, thank you very much for helping me, my dear. Do you want to help me make a blanket?
Can I pick the colors?
Of course you can. Amzai, Hushem.
Amzai, it pleases my heart greatly to see that you haven't joined Korah. You didn't present yourself before Jehovah at the tent of meeting.
I wouldn't present myself as a candidate for the priesthood. Nevertheless, I don't oppose Korah and his assembly for their right to do so.
I don't think you understand how serious this is. They're awaiting a sign from Jehovah himself. Moses hasn't revealed to us what it'll be, but I'm afraid our father's act of presumptuousness isn't going to go unpunished. And now Moses will present himself before the tents of Dathan and Abiram, that they too might hear the word of Jehovah.
I'd also hear what it is Moses would say to him. I, for my part, don't deny Dathan and Abiram their right to do what they've done.
But Amzai, they've denied the word of God spoken by Moses.
Does Jehovah speak only by Moses? Aren't we also a part of Israel? How do you know Jehovah doesn't also speak through Korah, Dathan, and Abiram? They're older men too. They came with us out of Egypt. Isn't Moses a man just like us?
Please, Amzai, beware of the rebellious talk of Dathan and Abiram.
It would seem that Jehovah's preparing to answer those questions himself. You didn't stand up with Korah. But how are you going to stand when Dathan and Abiram are called to account?
We shall see. We shall see.
And what is it that you would say to us, Moses?
Have you come here to play the prince over us?
Turn aside, please, from before the tents of these wicked men.
Who does he think he is?
Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Do not touch anything that belongs to them, that you may not be swept away in all their sin.
He can't be talking about us.
Aha, and who else do we have here? The so-called sons of Korah? Have you also been taken in by Moses' fear-inspiring threats?
You claim to keep the law. Does not the law say honor your father?
Yes, you sons of Korah.
Why are you not with your father now?
That is a fifth of the 10 words of Abiram.
The first 3 demand exclusive devotion to Jehovah.
Jehovah himself is still in the midst of Israel. Separate yourselves while there is time.
What are they doing?
You are among the tribe of Reuben. You exercise no authority here. You separate yourselves from our midst.
Amzai!
Join us, Amzai.
Please, Amzai!
By this you will know that Jehovah has sent me to do all these deeds, that it's not of my own heart. If it's according to the death of all mankind, that these people will die, and with the punishment of all mankind, that punishment will be brought upon them, then it is not Jehovah that has sent me. But if it's something created, that Jehovah will create, and the ground has to open its mouth and swallow up them and everything that belongs to them, and they have to go down alive into Sheol, then you will know for certain that these men have treated Jehovah disrespectfully.
It was a great tragedy. Down they went, and all that belonged to them, alive into Sheol. And the earth went covering them over so that they perished from the midst of the camp. And fire came out from Jehovah and proceeded to consume your grandfather and the 250 men offering incense. These perished in the rebellious talk of Korah. This was one of the darkest times ever for our family, and really for the entire nation. It was something we didn't recover from quickly. So, my son, that's why your father's face sometimes looks sad when we talk about your grandfather.
I understand that now more than ever before, Uncle.
But my son, we have to make sure that sadness doesn't cause us to forget what really happened here. My father and his companions actually rebelled against Jehovah's authority. Their envy, pride, and ambition led to rebellion, and in the end, they brought dishonor upon themselves. My father sought glory, but his glory was short-lived. I'm glad, though, that my brothers and I took the right side of the issue.
It must have been hard, though.
Yes, it was. But that helps us to understand how important it is that we not allow friendships or family to take priority over our relationship with Jehovah and our obedience to Him.
That's what Father's always told me.
Yes. Ultimately, successful direction for us humans comes from Jehovah. We should trust completely in His choices of appointed ones. You see, respect for those whom Jehovah has appointed shows respect for Jehovah's authority.
Thank you for sharing that with me, Uncle. It really helps me put all the pieces together.
You're welcome, my son. Now, what do you say we get back to our arrangement? Let's see. Where do we stop?
We were at the beginning of the second verse, Uncle?
Ah, yes. Here we are. Ready?
Ready.
Go.
Jehovah's expressions of love and kindness I will sing about to time indefinite. For generation after generation.
A tragic lesson for those involved in the rebellion and a costly one for the nation of Israel. As you watch these events unfold, with which drama character did you identify? It is easy to say that we would be just like the sons of Korah rather than to be like their father or like Dathan and Abiram. But which drama characters best represent who we are in the deep recesses of our heart? Jude verse 11 says, "Too bad for those who have perished in the rebellious talk of Korah." Yes, the negative talk of Korah had infected others. Sadly, some in the Christian congregation today have lent an ear to the rebellious and poisonous talk of those who do not respect Jehovah. Perhaps swayed by that person's years of dedicated service or by his prominence in the congregation. But we should remember that Korah, too, had been a long-time loyal servant of God. So to glibly say, "I am loyal," is not an assurance that we will be obedient and submissive. It is too bad that some in modern times have perished spiritually because of the influential thinking of treacherous hearts. Respecting Jehovah's authority also involves another important factor: loyalty. How many different aspects of loyalty did you count in the drama? 2? 3? 5? There were 6 different areas wherein Korah and the other rebels failed the test of loyalty. First, they did not loyally support godly authority.
So, Amzai, whose will is actually carried out? That of Moses or that of Jehovah?
Supposedly Jehovah's will.
Isn't it clear then, Amzai, that both Moses and Aaron have not arbitrarily lifted themselves up above the congregation? And if anyone objects to their authority, even someone who in the past has been faithful and loyal, Whose authority do you think he's actually challenging?
Well, I know I have to answer Jehovah's authority. However, in my eyes, Moses' leadership is a failure.
As back then, today, Jehovah appoints imperfect men to take the lead in the congregation. Of necessity, then, loyalty to Jehovah means to avoid resisting the decisions of elders in the congregation. We must believe that Jehovah is aware of all issues and circumstances. Oftentimes, we are not. What was the second test?
You sons of Levi, hear me now. Is Moses able to give any just cause as to why he has bestowed a priesthood on Aaron and his sons? God has determined to bestow that honor on one of the tribe of Levi. Am I not also of that tribe? Though I would not take it upon myself the dignity of this high office, unless it were urged upon me by the people.
We need to counteract the spiritual viruses of pride, ambition, or jealousy. What is the antidote to such destructive motives? Love, because love does not get puffed up. The next test of loyalty involved the rebels' reaction to the deficiencies of Moses and Aaron.
Would you three claim that Moses and Aaron are always right? Don't they make mistakes?
Of course they do, because obviously they're imperfect men like the rest of us. Jehovah surely is aware of their mistakes, more than any of us.
Like when Moses got married to that Cushite woman. It's a disgrace that we're led by a man whose wife is not even a daughter of Abraham.
When we come face to face with the imperfections of those with responsibility, how do we react? In the 4th chapter of Ephesians, gifts in men, yes, imperfect men, are for the purpose of readjusting us and building us up. Verse 13 says, until we all attain to a full-grown man, to the measure of stature that belongs to the fullness of the Christ. As a human, Jesus loyally supported Jehovah's arrangement, even though the deficiencies of those around him were readily apparent. Fourth, despite the fact that Jehovah had protected and sustained them, the nation of Israel began to murmur and complain.
Why didn't we die in the land of Egypt? It's better than to die in this wilderness.
Hear me, my brothers. Hear me. Let us appoint a head, and let us return to Egypt.
Be of good courage, my brothers. Do not condemn God as having told you lies.
Trust in Jehovah to help us and follow those whom he has appointed as leaders, even Moses and Aaron.
Do not listen to them. These men deserve to die.
In the congregation today, a complaining spirit is easy to spot in others, but it can be transparent when we are the source. We need to submerge and drown all complaining and murmuring. The Apostle Paul urged Christians to keep doing all things free from murmurings. Unlike the Israelites, we should not lose sight of the fact that the temporary inconveniences we experience in this system are minor when compared with the rich blessings of God's new world. What did you identify as the 5th test of loyalty?
Moses and his clan.
It's time to act. What happened to leadership in our nation? I don't believe that Moses enjoys the confidence of the people anymore.
And then when you think of the appointment of his brother Aaron as high priest, that makes me sick.
My brothers, you are right. The next high priest would be half my age. Moses did not even consider me worthy to be head of our own family, the Kohathites. He appointed Elizaphan, a man younger than me.
Is it just by Moses alone that Jehovah speaks?
Remember, Korah was upset at the thought of a younger man being given more responsibility than himself. So although Korah desired more privileges, it was for the wrong reasons. On the other hand, his sons were content to serve merely as assistants to the priests. It is a beautiful thing to see loyal ones who have learned to blossom in the soil where they are planted. The sixth and final lesson learned from the drama can be a difficult test of loyalty.
You are among the tribe of Reuben. You exercise no authority here. You separate yourselves from our midst.
Amzai! Please, Amzai!
The sons of Korah suffered the loss of their father and other close friends and family members. Today, Christians may suffer painful personal losses too, but friendships or family ties should never take precedence over our loyalty to God. It can be difficult to bring the wrongdoing of a friend to light or to support the elders as they readjust a family relative. However, Psalm 18:25 says, "With someone loyal, Jehovah will act in loyalty." So again we ask, which drama character did you identify with? Deep within your person. Throughout our lives, we will have opportunities to evaluate ourselves on this matter. So the next time things do not go as you expect, analyze what you feel surfacing from deep inside. A tendency toward murmuring? Is pride pushing away good motive? Are we subtly taking on the character of Korah, Dathan, or Abiram? Instead, may we all identify with the sons of Korah. Like the nation of Israel, we are poised at the threshold of God's new world. Before entering, you may face issues that test your loyalty, even affecting your life and that of your family. Be determined to stay focused on the bigger issue of God's sovereignty. Yes, respect Jehovah's authority. In so doing, you have the prospect of becoming perfect sons and daughters of Jehovah, being showered with his blessings for all eternity.